Hello and welcome to UK Versus. Today we're going to be doing a deck profile. I know Richard usually handles these, but I thought I'd give this a go myself. And I'm going to be talking about my local qualifier winning Dabi 1 list. Well, of course, my first venture back into deck profiles will be Dabi 1. Now, I will put a little disclaimer here. Only 4 people did arrive, so it was a 2-round local qualifier, but a win's a win. I played up against a life spike and an evil overhaul, and I ended up going 2-0 against the spike and 2-1 against the overhaul. And we are playing on the chaos symbol. Dabi got a very big power up in Attack on Titan Battle for Humanity in the fact that he got support on all 3 symbols. He has chaos, death, and fire, all of which got attunements. So he got access to a lot more power behind him. Personally, I think characters that got support on all 3 symbols are definitely worth taking another look at and seeing how all these cards together interact. And a huge shout out to Connor, my friend from London, who exposed me to this on Death, because it was something I've been considering, but after seeing him play it and beating it, because Dabi doesn't beat me, he knows his place. I then gave the deck a try and I ended up winning the game against Connor. I made some changes to the Death list, but then I took a look at Chaos and I realized Chaos actually did a little bit more. This is kind of inspired by the Smiling Titans list, but the fact that we have Chaos does give us a little bit of an edge, in my opinion, over the Death life, having that fire and chaos achievement. And one of the big things you get with Dabi having chaos over just running Death and life compared to Smiling Titan is City Rampage. All these big cost attacks, they need to be dealt with somehow, and you get access to City Rampage. You get +1/+1 to them, which is great, and then you get +2 to your checks. So with that one in progressive, you get +1. That's fine, which means if I'm playing my first attack on an 8, the lowest I can check is a 6. That is a lot bigger than if I was playing it on a 7 and I check a 4. I'm committing 1 less foundation guaranteed. That is huge. That is perfect. That is the exact same thing you're looking at with the 6 checks and 5 checks from Godzilla, but you're doing it on attacks that are coming in with a lot more power behind them, and you're also just basically going, I can guarantee I'm passing my stuff. If I check a 6 on a 7 or an 8, I pass it because of City Rampage. Perfect. So I'm going to go through the foundations first, because the attack lineup, pretty much what you're going to be expecting, but is a lot juicier and a lot more of the meat of the deck. First thing I'm running, Three Eyes of Hihei. The 3 Eyes of Hihei is a Chaos Fire Void card that is from the original Yu Hakusho set and got a reprint as a 5 check, but was errated to a 6 check in Yu Hakusho The Dark Tournament. This is a 3 cost foundation with a 2 high block, 6 check value, which is perfect for the attacks we're going to be running, and has a enhance of commit. Reveal a random card from your opponent's hand. Then I may look at the top cards of each player's decks and then change the zone of this attack. This means that I can see if I'm going to pass my next check, see if my opponent can check to block this, and if my opponent's running very limited cards in hand or has no draw power, I can get some information that allows this attack to get through. And because of how hard Dabi hits, or if I get to pop off my once per game, then this becomes a very big deal. Being able to have a 15-16 damage attack that I can change the zone of is a big deal, and the only reason I wasn't running this in Godzilla at regionals last time is because I forgot it was a 6 check. Then we move on to our 2 cost foundations, starting off with the basics. 1 of Credible Display, 2 difficulty 5 check, 3+ mid block with response commit, pick up a foundation after you block with 1, and response commit, spend the momentum, cancel a response. Perfect, very good for defensive capabilities, and this Dabi deck does get momentum quite easily. Following on from that, we're running 3 nice tries, mainly because I could not find my 4th for some reason, even though I've got a promo one sitting there as well, so I should have more lying around. 2 difficulty 5 check, 3 low block with commit. This attack gets -2 speed, response at the start of your opponent's turn, ready, nice try. So this means that my checks essentially become a lot cheaper because I have a resource that re-readies for defense. Perfect for what we're doing here. Then, staying along the defensive line, 2 broken psyches. We do get momentum. We do not really want to block and burn the attacks that we're holding. So reducing an attack to 2 damage means that we get to play around a little bit, and we do force our opponents to play a little bit more of a chicken game of when they use enhances. The other one is Last Second Dodge. I love the look of this card. I think it's very, very cool. It's mainly in here because one of my locals is a very prolific recovery goal player, one of my locals is the Manata player, and also 2 speed on a flip is very, very good. And the fact that I can make an attack lose throw when I was expecting things like Colossal Titan attacks, recovery goal, Manata, Nebulous Stare, which I did end up coming across, but the only time I had this, I had no low blocks in hand, meant that this was a choice more for locals, and at regionals level, this would be a more of a sideboard card. We run 4 league interviews, mainly because it's a 6 check, simple as, but because it has very good utility. It's 2 cost, 6 control with a +3 mid block. That basically has a first form, discard the top 2 cards of my deck, which is very good for Dabi. Response, after you make a check to block, that check gets +1 as a flip cost. So good defensively, good offensively, like my checks get even more easier. Means that if I'm playing City Rampage as my first form, League Interview means I can't fail it, which you'll see when I get to my attacks. Has that 6 check, which is very, very powerful. And I haven't gone over Dabi's abilities yet because I want to save those for the attacks. But that first form does feed into. We have our 1 cost foundations. And we have a stack of them because 1 cost kind of replaced the 0 cost in here. We have 2 horrifying realizations. So form, flip, both players discard a card. If my opponent discards a foundation, they commit a foundation. And we both then get to draw. It's a 1 cost, 5 control with a 2 mid block that basically lets me get another foundation in my discard, which is perfect, and can force my opponent to either discard an attack or to make it harder for them to pass their blocks. Then we have 4 Swallowed by an Abnormal. This is a 1 cost, 6 control, 3 low block with a enhance. If this attack's printed difficulty 6 or greater, he gets +1 speed, +1 damage as a flip cost, which means if I check it, perfect, I'm checking a 6. If it's in play, I can make my attacks harder to deal with, and it's a low cost to play. This is one of the cards that when I saw, I was like, this is perfect for Dabi because it's the 6 check. It's a 6 check that Smiling Titan doesn't have access to. We have 4 Struggling with Studies. Defensive capabilities allows me to pick up stuff I want from my card pool if my opponent keeps stringing, and if my opponent tries to flip my either Hihei or my League Interviews, I can protect them and keep them safe. Then we're in just 2 Fast Friendships. I mean, we've got some Speed 8 here, we've got some Speed 8 here, and Fast Friendships are nice, but with the flip meta, I'm not flipping enough to keep up with it, so I'd rather have a bit more consistent Speed 8 everywhere else. This is a 1 cost, 5 control, 3 high block that basically says flip. This attack gets -2 speed. If you have more face downs than your opponent, it gets -3 speed instead. And then the last one is 4 Display of Might. Display of Might is a 1 cost, 6 control yet again, 2 high block with response, tenacious, flip. After you play a card with a difficulty of 8 or greater, draw a card. So whether I'm blocking or attacking with an attack that's 8 or greater, I can draw another card. This is very powerful. This was kind of key to progressing my game state and making sure I could get what I needed, and it was just very, very good at checking for playing and just being able to replace the cards in my hand, progressing my Dabi playstyle. The last is my zeros, which of course I run as standard in all my decks when I'm playing the chaos symbol. 4 Easily Excited, a 0 cost, 2 high block with a 5 control, response once per turn, your attack gets +1 speed. And basic training, 0 cost, 5 control, 2 mid block, response once per turn, this attack gets +1 damage. Deadlock response, after an attack is played, it gets +1 speed, and that is playable while committed. That is a tenacious ability. So this is Deadlock Threat. I'm not running a lot of Deadlock Threat, but the Deadlock Threat I'm running is quite dangerous if I get multiple down. So this is geared towards getting my attacks to hit, making sure that I have defense to stay alive, and making it harder for my opponent to deal with these attacks, as well as having as many 6 checks as I can have to make sure that my attacks get through. There are a couple I did not run, mainly because they were so anti-synergistic that a blank 6 was kind of not what I wanted. I possibly could have run the fire 6 check with Mikasa over last second dodge, but last second dodge was a lot better for what I was playing, so I could probably do that for regionals if I decide to run this at regionals, but this is kind of where I landed. And for me, this is a lot different than I usually play. I usually play a lot more defensive for foundations, but I took out a lot of the defensive foundations I usually run to make sure I had my 6 checks ready to go. So let's talk Dabi. Dabi is the character I am probably most famous for playing. Most people aren't aware of that now. It's been well over a year since I last played Dabi. But Dabi is a character from Crimson Rampage who will rotate with the new Vox Machina set next year, who is a 6-hander for 28 health that has 3 abilities. 2 first enhances and 1 enhance. He has first enhance, your next attack gets +3 damage. First enhance, your attack gets +1 damage, +1 speed. And once per game, remove 10 foundations from my discard. Your attack gets +8 damage and throw, or your opponent destroys each of their ready foundations to negate this. That once per game ability is what decides games. Using it at the right time is what can win games. And the biggest issue I used to run into is my opponents just committing out and going, yeah, if you can't use your once per game, I win, and making it a lot harder for me to kill them because I was running low speed, high damage attacks. But thanks to Attack on Titan, they can no longer do that. Let's look at the attack lineup. We're running 2 Jaw Titan attacks. This is a 6 diff, 1 low block with a 4 control. That's a 6 low for 6 with a blitz. So at the start of the enhanced step, gain 2 life. Very powerful, very cool. And then at the end of the turn where you play this as an attack, you can build it in as the Jaw Titan as a backup, which has commit, lose 2 stamina, this attack gets 2 speed, and tenacious response, lose 3 stamina. After your rival plays an ability that increases their health, cancel it, they cannot gain health this turn. This won me the game against Overhaul. He flipped, he got 2 damage, I went no, cancel it because the entire ability gains health. So he lost the 2 damage. He couldn't gain health. He couldn't gain health for the rest of the turn, which meant he stayed at 4 health for the entirety of his turn, and I was able to kill on the backswing. That's how I won game 3. And yes, this is very powerful, very cool, and a 6/6 for a 6 check, a 6/6 for a 6 cost in what we've just seen in my foundation base is very powerful. The only reason I'm only running 2 is because I own 1 and I borrowed 1, and then I forgot to give it back. Sorry, Rob, I'll make sure you get it back. Then we have our 7 diff attacks. We're running 3 Smiling Titans. Oh, it looks like I'm running 3 Jaw Titans. I do apologize. The reason I'm running 3 is because I had 2 and I borrowed 1. So we're running 3 Smiling Titans, 3 Duplicitous Recollections, 4 Duplicitous Recollections, 4 Knockdown Blows, and 3 Female Titan attacks. Only reason I'm running 3 Female Titan attacks is because that's all I could get hold of. I owned 1, borrowed 2. So Rob, yeah, I'll make sure you get those back. So, Knockdown Blow is the main reason that I decided to play Dabi over Smiling Titan for locals. Knockdown Blow is a 7 cost, 7 high for 7 with a 4 check, +2 to my high block. That has a blitz of my next shift attack. It gets +3 to its check and +3 damage. That means that the next one I play is a lot easier and comes in hitting a lot harder. And if we pair that with Dabi's first enhance, that means I'm going to be basically having a 6 coming in. So my opponents are going to be sitting there going, I can block the 7 or I can take it and see what comes next. It creates this +6 on the next stuff, and none of my attacks are that low speed. 6, 5, 6, 7, 7. Then we have Duplicitous Recollection. Duplicitous Recollection is again a 7 diff, 2 low block, 5 low for 6 with a 4 check, stun 1, and blitz. When I play this, I go to my discard, I get a shift attack that has 7 or less difficulty, and I build it. So I can build female, build smiling, build Jaw Titan. That's huge. This is all I got comments from my opponents saying that's a very cool interaction, and you'll see why I'm running it this way when I come to what the actual kind of combination play is. This is very cool, and the biggest thing I would usually build in is Female Titan or Smiling Titan. Smiling Titan was designed to keep me alive. You build it in, and then you can instantly form and say your first attack is going into this. Because you have to declare where your attacks are going once there's backups down, we have Smiling Titan, which I just covered. It's a 7 diff, 1 high block, 4 control, 6 high for 6 with blitz. Your rival spends 1 momentum, so it's a great momentum out. And then when shifted, so when it builds down, it has form, lose 1 stamina, and commit. Your rival's first attack next turn must attack this backup if able. So if it gets destroyed, if it is no longer around, if it only has 1 stamina, I destroy it. It doesn't just negate what the first attack does. That has to go into there. Then we're running Female Titans. Female Titan is a 7 cost, 1 high block, 7 high for 7 on a 4 control with Blitz. Draw 1 card, replaces itself, and ready 1 backup. When it flips, it builds in as a backup. It has 2 abilities: Form, lose 4 stamina and commit, mill 2, choose 1 punch or kick attack in your discard and add it to your hand, and enhance, lose 1 stamina. This attack gets +2 speed. The interaction here is I play a knockdown blow, I play a Duplicitous Recollection, I play Smart Titan, I play any of my attacks, I commit Jaw Titan, give it 2 speed, play Female Titan, draw a card, ready up, give it 2 speed. It means I get to utilize that ability twice. It's very cool. It doesn't really work with Smart Titan, but it does work with itself. It means I can lose 1 stamina to give something +2 speed and ready it, or I can go find something, play a Female Titan, ready it up, and then lose another stamina to give something speed. And then the last attacks in my deck, I'm running 2 Attack Titan attacks, which should probably increase, but I'm just running so many high blocks that I can't really justify more. This is an 8 diff, 5 high for 8 on a 2 high block and a 4 control with just a Deadlock Ruin 1 as a blitz. Very cool, very powerful, but then has 2 abilities on the shift when you build it as a backup. Form, lose 4 stamina and commit. As your next form, try to play this attack side, it gets -3 difficulty, so it becomes a 5. Enhance, commit, lose 1 stamina, this attack gets +2 damage. Works well with the Female Titan as well. It means that I can play Knockdown Blow, play another attack, play this on a 7, thanks to this, because it got -3 from the form, and then because I can only check 4s, guaranteed to pass thanks to this. The last attack I'm running, and the MVP of this deck from yesterday, is Unexpected Outcome. The games where I saw this were much more impactful than the games that I didn't. I played this on my kill turn against Overhaul, and he used everything he had to try and make me fail this, and I committed 6 foundations to make sure I could pass this, because it's just nuts. It is a 9 cost, 1 mid block, 4 control, 10 mid, 4 8 with Blitz. Your rival reveals their hand. You get to see all their cards, know all their information, know their block zones. Remove 1 attack card revealed this way. After this attack resolves, you may flip it and try to play it as a copy of the removed as your next form. This is pseudo echo, but you don't know what you're echoing. This is a very, very powerful attack. I absolutely love it because you play it. Maximum, I'm committing 5, maybe 4. My first attack if I check and don't have League Interview out. And I'm getting to play 2 attacks, which is taxing. I get to see all the information about my opponent's hand. And it's a 10 mid for 8. So unless they're rocking a barrier shield or I'm playing against Rodan, this is tough to block. It's very hard to block, very, very cool. I'm running it as a cheeky little one-off because I wanted something that was catching my opponent off guard. I'm running 7 lows, 12 highs, and 1 mid. So the mid was completely unexpected for a lot of people when I played it, and it just allowed me to pop off. I love this card. I'm going to play this more. I'm so obsessed with Ravagers of War. I forgot that this was a thing, and I absolutely love it. I will try and play it as often as I can. But the main combination of this deck is these 3. And that's a bit more interesting, and that's why I wanted to go for the attacks last. Because the utilization of these cards is what allows it to really kind of pop off. Let's keep these around. So with these 4 cards, I can set up a bit of a loop. So I need to get a Female Titan backup down, either through playing Female Titan or building it in with Duplicitous Recollection. Once it's down, we can start having a bit of fun, because I either draw or check Knockdown Blow. If I draw it, I play it, and then I can play a Female Titan, a Jaw Titan, or I can play a Attack Titan attacks and guarantee I'm passing that check. It's coming in as a 5-14, a 6-12, or a 7-13. Then, once it's been played, that goes to discard. I get my attack titan attacks, I get my female titan attacks, either one or hopefully both if I get this as well. And I'm ready to go. Commit, lose 4 stamina, add this punch back to my hand, play this punch, play whatever else I've got. Let the stats start to build up. Then on a 7, on an 8, on a 9, play attack titan attacks with -3 difficulty. So if I've got, say I played 3 attacks, this would then be coming in on an 8. The lowest I can check is a 7, as long as I've not played another shift. So even on an 8, it means I've played these without to commit resources. But ideally, I kind of want to go knockdown, duplicitous on a 7. So I'm guaranteed to pass it. And I get to go, cool, this was for 7, this was for 9, and this is for 14. Then I build it down. And I wait to get another female titan, because unfortunately I can only use that form once because they can't gain stamina. I have this ready to go for when I get it. I'm running 4, so I'm going to see more of them. I'm running 3 of these, 4 if I can get hold of them, hit harder with these. And I can just loop these 2 together, allowing them to hit hard, and utilizing the rest of my attack package to guarantee they go through. Playing knockdown blow and making it a 9, then readying it with the female titan to commit and making this a 9-14. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Very cool, very powerful. I love that. This was a very fun deck to play. None of my opponents felt bad losing to this kind of deck. I don't think it's the kind of deck they expected me to play for locals, but it's very on brand for me, and this is my first venture back into Dabi. Huge shout out to Connor for putting me onto this, but I really like this. I think it has great potential. I just need to test it against speed hater, more defensive characters like Rodan, Ghidorah, because it might just auto lose to decks that hold have a lot of high blocks and reduce a lot of speed, but at the same time it can just also rinse those characters if it gets a good turn early, because cards like Unexpected Outcome, Duplicitous Recollection just kind of hit out of nowhere. Tell me what you think. This was a bit longer than usual for deck profiles, but I wanted to talk a bit about the combo. How do you feel about Dabi 1? Do you think this would be better under any other character? Is there another Chaos, Death, Fire character I should try this under? If I drop the Death, I could probably try this. If I drop the Fire, I could probably try this under Reiner, but I think Reiner is a bit slower than Dabi here. And if people want a list on the Death variant of this, which is more defensive and more technical, but doesn't kill as quickly, do let me know. I do like the Death variant as well. Thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions, if you just want to talk to me about this Dabi deck and how I'm getting over it, reach out to me. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!